Okay, good morning. It is about quarter to 8 o'clock in the AM on Tuesday, January 28th, 2020, in the lunar cycle Gatto, the fourth winter moon. And I've just pulled into the Ridgewood neighborhood where I have a skunk trap set up. I was on my way to Spobikami, but I got a text from one of my clients over here saying that there's a skunk in the trap. So we're gonna go pick that up before we go to the pond, and then I don't know if I'll have enough time for a full round before the studio, but at least we'll go visit the Beaver Lodge or something in that order and release Skunky. We should be coming close now. Morning there, Skunky. Atomic skenophony. You're coming with me. Another glorious sunrise in southern Alberta. Off she goes. There's been no reappearance of the young beaver, the yearling or so old beaver that we saw Sunday morning here by the entrance to the sub pond canal. Still a bit of open water there where we observed him feeding, and so it's likely that they're continuing to come up there during the night, do their thing, just like right there by their food cache there's open water being maintained. Yeah, seeing that beaver the other morning has me thinking about a couple of different things. First and foremost, I guess, the Beaver project for the coming summer. I have an opportunity to craft a citizen mitigation program with the beavers. I don't know if mitigation is the right word, but we need to improve our relationship with the beavers in the city and not be putting ourselves into a position where we're forced to trap and kill dozens of them a year, as has been the case over the past couple of decades or so. So the ball is in my court to do that. I need to rally some assistance from the public, for people that wanted to be beaver monitors, and I need to start up a kind of a, well, I already did start a private Facebook group where we can share in reporting and such. But yeah, I need to get that going. And as part of that, to start routinely monitoring all of the different lodges that I know of. And maybe this afternoon would be a good occasion to commence with a check of the beaver situation back at the inlet, at the water inlet for the city. I think there might be geese again in the sub pond, or in the south pond spring. I heard some honking. It didn't sound far as the river, but we'll see when we get over there. I'm just gonna make a quick round of it, even though time is short. So yeah, got me thinking about the beaver project again. And of course, the concern was raised too by at least one subscriber of, what about those beavers that you took the food away from? Have you introduced any new food to them over the winter to help them survive? I have not. I don't know if they've survived even this far. So probably best to go check on them. Better now than never, I suppose. So that's one thing. On the other side, seeing that beaver the other morning, remember I said itomistai, the first to dive. This is kind of an important important name, as I was taught. And I don't know that anybody in the Blackfoot world is carrying that name right now. I've started putting feelers out there amongst my friends who would know, which would be mainly those that are involved in one fashion or another with beaver bundles, because that name is closely connected with that part of the tradition. It comes from the beavers. And so I was kind of thinking, there's a magpie family here in this honeysuckle tree. It's like 4 or 5 birds just kind of hanging out. Not sure why. Now I'm disturbing them. So yeah, I don't know if anybody's using that name, and reality is here, I'm gonna change my name. I'm gonna change both my Blackfoot name, Akayo Kaki, and my last name, Heavyhead. So that'll be if I change my name, I'm going into my third kind of phase in life, and my third name, and I think I'll just bring it all together, have my, whatever my new Blackfoot name is, be my last name as well. And first to dive, or first diver, is not a bad name. That's a name I could live with, and one that I would feel challenged by to live up to. And it's appropriate name for a beaver man. And yeah, it just might be the way to go. So come back to my channel in a year from now. It might not be Ryan Heavyhead, it might be Ryan First Diver, or First to Dive. Kind of like First to Dive, but then there's 3 words to my last name. I'm gonna get a whole lot of mail that says Ryan First. That's how I'd get anyway. Or Ryan Dive. Yeah, there are geese over here, I think. Yes, there are. At the little pool. Hold on, I'll switch cameras and show you. Alright, so this is a bit of a different phenomenon. than I was noting the other day when there was just the family of 4 here. This is obviously a full clan, comprises several families, probably related, you know, it's probably an extended family clan. My little hypothesis is actually that what's going on with them? Are they getting ready to leave or what? My hypothesis is that these guys are matriarchal and matrilocal, so that the clans, like this could be the clan, and it probably is, that belongs to the pond, and it'll be here breeding for the summer. Hold on, I'm going to switch cameras so I can keep walking. Yeah, so based on like just the behavior patterns that I've observed out here, particularly during the period that Mahoney and I were studying to learn how to procure eggs for our ceremonies, we over a few years noted that the females here at the pond had really similar behavioral traits, but that the males, the ganders, their behaviors kind of were widespread. You know, some of them were real tough guys that were just always on the ball, right by their goose's side all the way through the nesting period. Other ganders just, you know, would fuck off and go eat at the golf course or whatever while she's sitting there tending the eggs, and he might or might not even come defend her if he hears some squabbling going on. You know, there was many an occasion that Mahoney and I were able to walk up to geese sitting incubating nests and have their gander nowhere around and just completely flaked out, or now and then the gander would like wait far away, you know, honking at us, but wouldn't risk himself. On the other hand, there were ganders in here that were going to lay down their lives, and the goose couple that really taught us the most here were a couple that were a lay down your life type, that they were fierce, and we never took an egg from them because there was no way they were going to let us. Anyhow, based on the similitude in the female behavior and the wide disparity in male behavior, we started thinking maybe the females here are more closely related, and it's probably totally bull, but there's some kind of organization to these goose clans. You know, I don't think they're just random geese that come together. I think they're extended families. And I think that there's you know, because the same geese return every year to the same water, to the same area to nest and stuff like that, I think there's some kinship thread through the geese that are nesting together in a particular area. I think that's why you can have communal nesting islands and have things work out sometimes where geese are okay with sitting on 25 eggs. Obviously not all their own eggs, hey? because it's a big kinship effort. I don't think it's just like something that members of a species would do for one another. Not, at least not at that at the level of goose. I don't know. Goose are, in a way, they're also, in a way, another way to think about them is like the buffalo of the birds, you know. They're like the bison of the bird community. They even have an ungulate type of stomach, you know, with the four different stomach kind of a scenario. So, and they just graze. That's their thing, hey? They're just the grass eaters. Grass seed, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, so another way to think of them is like the cattle, the bison of the birds. And in that sense, how might that flock be organized? You know? Is it a big extended family? Is there a matriarchal or patriarchal bend to it? What about the locality chosen for breeding grounds? What about when you leave the breeding grounds? You know, because they do. Some stay at the breeding grounds and raise their goslings there until they're ready to fly. But often the geese will take their goslings and go somewhere else. Where are they going? I don't know. They're going to some other place, some other resource area. Sometimes the best nesting places are not necessarily the best places to raise the goslings, right? They're just safest for nesting. So, but yeah, there's lots to learn about the geese. They're not just simple. I don't think. It's probably a they are and they aren't kind of a thing, you know. Anyhow, I'm just about to the north end now. No sign of deer this morning, by the way. Did see a couple, maybe 4 or 5 of them Sunday morning, so they're still around, those whitetails, but not in the numbers that they were earlier. And they're less predictable at the moment. I imagine we're going to get another good cold descending on us before long. And we'll see. We'll see how things tighten up out here. All right, on to the studio, and perhaps later a visit to those beavers at the inlet. Decided to hike in along the intake canal here rather than trying to drive in through the canine training area, just because the ground is so wet and muddy. I don't really trust the view to be able to make it through all of it without the 4-wheel drive, you know. Any case, down at the other end, at the downstream end of this canal, there's several spots of open water. I think owing to the shallow depth of those areas. Over here, I think the water's a bit deeper, and so you get this maintenance of the ice. I don't know what to really expect up at the Beaver area. What would you call that? I guess that would be the mouth of the canal, because that's the intake. And then the other side would be like the ass of the canal. Something in that order. I don't know what you'd call that, but you know, a lot of times when you think of the mouth of the river, you think of where the river like spills out. That's not really the mouth, right? Mouth is where it comes in. Any case, could be that these beavers, likely that these beavers have been locked under, you know, since we last met them. So we'll see here in a moment. There is a trickle of open water on the inner downstream side of the culvert. No indication necessarily that beavers have been coming up recently out of this water. Over here at the site, can see that the city has segmented that tree that was fallen over here, the large tree. Lots of good wood. I think they maybe did that just a week or so ago, because the city, some of the guys had told me they're coming out this way, asked me how the beaver situation was, and I told them, I don't know, I haven't been out there recently. So here is the beaver situation. Pretty much iced over. Still got the tops of plant material at least cutting through the ice. Looks like there may have been a bit of melt off at some point. Would it be enough for the beavers to pop up through? I don't know. Just coming to look along the river's edge here. See where, if anywhere, there might be a nearby opening. And from here to the weir, which is a ways out there, maybe 100 meters out, I don't see any openings. Nothing obvious anyway. Now, this looks like it's opened. Yeah. And there's plant material, plant debris in there. A few different open patches, all of them with plant debris, grass debris. And that looks super thin. Like, it looks like a beaver could push up through there easily. So it could be that a beaver is coming on shore here. Gathering what's immediately nearby, but not apparently coming too far ashore. Well, there's a slide here. There's a slide here. So it could be that they have been accessing food through this slide, although it doesn't look recently used. Let's go look upriver along the edge there. I know we don't have to go far before there's another beaver lodge, so let's check that out. Okay, so right here you have the little inlet to the water intake canal where the so-called beaver problem is, where one or two or more beaver are living and made food caches on top of the culvert pipes feeding the city's water intake. So that's one beaver or beaver family there. The next lodge is just over here, probably within, I wouldn't say easy swim because they're going against the current to come up this way, but for a beaver, a doable swim to get over here. The problem is, once over here, I think the beaver would probably need to get out of the water, get some get some good breaths, and if he shows up over here and is, say, immediately attacked by the resident beavers here, confronted and or attacked, might not have the energy to survive that. So there's been no open water along the cut bank as yet. Ooh. Pretty muddy. I'm slipping around out here. And okay, so here we have the lodge. Big lodge. And I can't remember exactly where the food cache was. I know before the ice closed, we checked this place out and there was a large food cache, maybe right out in front. And just upstream of here, there's another outspout of a little canal that I think brings maybe a little city wastewater, not like sewage water, but like just storm drainage comes out here. And here you got, oh, there must have been a muskrat right there and I didn't even know it. See if he comes back up. I wouldn't think the ice would just choose right then to break off, but that's another possibility. Anyhow, there's open water here past this lodge. It's a ways to go and a dangerous place to be territoriality wise. So I guess the question is, are there still beavers over there alive? And if so, can I get them some access to food? As I said I would when I took their food. Or said I would at least try to do when I took their food. It was at the time, of course, a way for me to justify taking their food and not just consider myself a killer, right? But not following up on it just betrays, you know. I really want to buy the beavers some time, and that situation was going to be a problem situation, and if they called in the executioner, it wouldn't just be for that pair, you know, it'd be for the whole lot up and down river here. All the same, maybe I just should bring a sledge or a crowbar out here, open up some ice at the edge and see whether there's a response. Sounds like the thing to do. Just came in here along these deer trails and noticed there's a magpie here in Saskatoon patch, and he's picking stuff off of, where is he? There he is. I don't know if he's getting food caches or if he's finding insects. Might be warm enough that there's some ants or something out. Let's see if we can get a closer look ourselves at anything on these branches. That might be of interest to a magpie, because it wasn't just that one spot he was picking from. Came through here picking off of several branches before I pulled out the camera. It's the male song. I had the Blackfoot words for this. I can't remember what it is. Maybe he'll right out show us what it is. What's so interesting here? Well, he's got something there. Is it just old berries? He's toying with me now. He's got something in his throat pocket, so he's not swallowing it. could have the prize thing. And he's going to hide it elsewhere. I'm still kind of looking at these stems, searching them for insects, which I'm not finding any, but nor am I finding old berries, not on the stems in the areas where he's looking. Maybe he picked that off of the ground. It's right over here now. What do you got? What do you got? What are you up to? Are you messing with me? Are you messing with me? Yeah, you're messing with me. You got something in your throat pocket. Go ahead. Hide it. Yeah, you hide it. We'll see if he leaves it. If he leaves it, it's only because he really wants us to know. Hey, did you drop it? I saw something drop. I saw something drop and I don't see anything in your throat pocket anymore. And off he goes way up there to perch and watch how I respond. Alright, so this is where I came walking through to begin with. I did see something light colored drop down. That could have been a chunk of wood, or it could have been whatever he was carrying. I see something light colored on the snow right there. So I bet that's it. And it is a chunk of chipped off wood. So that's what I saw drop. So hopefully he left us a present up here. He may have kind of buried it in here. Yeah, there's chips. I'm hitting a spider web, so I don't think he put anything right there. That's some gun. He's messing with me. Just noticed something caught my eye down here. What was it? This. They're just a chip of wood. Huh. Alright then. He's out here somewhere watching me. Okay, you got me. I was fooled. Probably tucked it under your wing and off you went. I should just kept it rolling, because right away he comes gliding up. And he's got something he's showing off over here. He's still way up there, but he's got something up there. Alright, I know you're not going to show me, so I'm just going. walk away now. You're just messing with me. Gosh dang, I'm stupid. Well, not that stupid, but I come close to it sometimes. So I was just walking down this trail, was just gonna walk away, just like I threatened to the magpie. I'm out of here. And in the, just a little voice in the back of my mind, my little Jiminy Cricket told me, hey dude, what if that spider web thing that you were hitting was what the magpie was hiding? And I was like, geez, I gotta dig in to get that spider webby thing and find out what it is. Man, am I glad I came back. Check this out. This is wicked. It's not a spider web at all. I'm seeing wispy little mouse hair on a mouse leg. A severed mouse leg. That's what was being cached by that magpie. I'm sure of it. How cool is that, eh? So I am gonna probably take a picture of it for Instagram and then tuck it back in here for the magpie, along with, I don't know, I'm gonna look through my pack and see if there's just anything at all that I can leave as an offering. Yeah, very cool. Okay, alright, I take it back. You weren't messing with me. Showing me that it was actually food caches in these, in the midst of these Saskatoon. The magpie's got all kinds of food laid away, including bits of mice. And they may even be pulling them out of the understory there, in there, because they're always looking in the leaves and stuff too. So, any case, pretty cool find. Okay, so here is my reassembly of the food cache, and doesn't even look like anybody's touched it, right? That mouse leg is back in there, hidden under some chunks of wood, just the way the magpie had it. Very cool. I checked my backpack pretty thoroughly and didn't find anything in there that I thought a magpie would make any use of. And I know magpies pretty well. So, just gonna have to leave it at that for now. But, still, I think that's pretty neato. Being shown, right? Being shown. That magpie like danced and sang for us, and then went right out there to the most open and accessible thing that I could reach. And tuck that sucker in there. No doubt for me to find, and then he perched a ways and watched me find it. So, and I might right now be walking away from further lessons. I don't know. This is the thing when you're learning in situ, in relationship with the animal that's not in a laboratory. The dynamics are different. You got to be on your toes, and I'm not always prepared mentally to be on my toes at that moment. A lot of times these things come out of wherever they're going to come out of. Just crossing paths. I might circle. I think I'm going to double back and see if that magpie goes and checks. So I circled back, and I've been standing over here for a little bit. There is a magpie out that way somewhere. It's probably the same bird, but he hasn't he didn't seem to have come back here. I'm just going to check and make sure he wasn't here. No, everything's still the same. So he didn't come back and pull it out while I circled around. So I don't think he's returning. I think that was it. And I think he was just answering my question, right? What are you eating? Here, he showed me. You know? I don't think it was like I considered, well, maybe he wants me to have that, right? I don't think that's it. I think he's tucked it away so you can come back and get it. But he did it in a way that, you know, all right, go check it out. See what I've been up to, and then leave me the fuck alone. Quit following me with your camera. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go back to the office pretty soon here, studio, but these deer trails are just too tempting.